Hi all, let's have a look inside an amazing new book at Chessable called The Fundamentals Build Your Chess 1. So this is by Artur Yusupov, who was ranked number 3 in the world from 1986 to 1992, behind the legends of Karpov and Kasparov. So let's have a look at the chapters. Introduction chapter, mating motifs, we've got simple pawn endings, discovered attack, centralizing the pieces, mate in 2, opposition, the pin, double attack, and there's a whole load more here. So it looks all very, very important fundamental stuff. Let's have a look at mating motifs, and you have the informational context here about what is to be studied in the informational section. Let's get solving. Now this one is from a game of Lasker against Mayer. It was actually in a simul 1900 check, and the idea is to drive the king into our position, so check here. And now with that rook controlling these squares, this one, because if king f6 there's rook e6, checkmate, check, and the king's driven to g3 for that checkmate there. So a wonderful thing to happen, especially in a simul of Lasker. Anastasiya's mate is a very, very important mating pattern to know about. We have a very important forcing move here, and now another superb move in this position. I wonder if you can guess if I give you 5 seconds. And this is the Anastasiya mate pattern. Okay, the lovely queen takes h2, which drives the king there. The knight's controlling those escape squares, and we just play rook h4. So wonderful coordination of rook and knight there. And let's have a look at another Anastasiya's mate, more complicated version, knight e2 check. And this is a bit similar to a Magnus Carlsen game we once saw on this channel against Hammer, his good friend Hammer. Same sort of pattern, Anastasiya's mate. So here, rook h5, and then we can play again rook h4, checkmate, king even on h1. Yeah, it's just got no escape squares. Okay, let's try an Arabian Mate. Now this is the coordination of rook and knight. Rook takes f3, looks very strong with the idea of coming to f3. So I've seen this pattern myself and used it myself in some bullet games. It's a real points winner. It's good we have the pawn missing here, otherwise it's a back row mate. This is forcing mate because rook h2 is threatened. If rook g2, we just go check there. Let's see this on knight. Okay, there's some variations explained here. Rook g2 here, knight takes f3. This one is mating on g1, so that rook and knight coordination is pretty fantastic there. Queen and bishop battery. Another great point scorer, especially in faster forms of chess. This might be easily overlooked. We have to drive the defensive knight away, e4, and we accelerate this bishop and queen battery, check, mate. So that's a very important idea to understand about the queen and bishop battery. Boden's mate. This is beautiful coordination. Boden's mate is when the two bishops cooperate really well to deliver a checkmate. I think we need to liberate this bishop here to start off with though. So d5, and then can you guess, if I give you 5 seconds, what would you play in this position? Check out all the forcing moves, even if they're totally outrageous looking. We need to know the forcing variations as high priority. So black to play here. Queen takes c3. Yeah, for this checkmate here, the crisscross of the bishops coordinating beautifully. Boden's mate. Okay, there's another one here. This is a more complicated example of Boden's mate, and I believe it starts queen a6. Okay, that defended actually c6 as well, that move. Try and drive the queen away, and it sacrifices herself. She sacrifices herself, but we've damaged the black pawns, and we can also play this check. And can we get a pin on the knight by driving the king away, or can we use that pin? We've already got the pin now. Can we use the pin with knight e5, I wonder? So knight e5, Now here, I believe we can get the Boden's Mate reactivated to the complementary bishops. There's a key move in this position. If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video, what would you play in this position? Okay. Bishop still coordinating really, taking away escape squares. Knight takes f7. Yeah, because if bishop takes, then we play bishop d6. Let's have a look at this position. There's some variations here. Black resigned because the bishop takes f7, bishop f4 check, and then after knight e5, bishop takes e5. Okay, it's not forcing a mate, but it's winning a load of material. Then we can take here, and in fact, we win the rook on h8 in the end. So quite a sophisticated example of Boden's Mate there. So reinforcing those mating patterns is really important, those mating motifs. So let's have a look at this Leela's Mate. So this is a well-known position, which I hope you've seen before. It's a relative pin, so you can legally move that knight. And in fact, can you guess if I give you 5 seconds? White to play. Okay, knight takes e5, looking at that soft spot f7. So here, bishop takes f7, and then knight d5 check. And mate, great coordination of the 3 minor pieces. There's a few interesting variations here. And in fact, in this position, this is not working when the bishop's on g4, because there's knight takes e5 and white's actually losing a piece. So that's why you have to, getting into this, you have to make sure the bishop's on h5. So it explains that crucial thing. And now knight takes e5. This is fine here. This is great. And even, you know, taking, if taking, then we play queen takes h5, and then we've got this check here. This is a really interesting point about this. Okay, so yeah, whatever black plays, black's worse. Once the bishop's on h5 there. So these are really, really important things to know about Greco's Mate. This looks as though, yeah, we're hitting 2 soft spots, but f2 is the one hanging. Can you guess here? Okay, queen g1. This is forcing a spot for the mate here, knight f2. So, yep. So really, really a lot of fun there with Checkmate's Blackburn's Mate. Now this is actually one of my all-time favorites for when I play b3 in bullet chess. I get this Blackburn's Mate. I didn't know it. In fact, it was called Blackburn's Mate. But can you guess what white plays in this position? There's a beautiful point with coordinating bishops. So this actually happened to Yusupov. He had this opportunity to play this in the European Team Championship 1983. So white to play, if I give you 5 seconds. Okay. Queen takes h5. Yeah, the bishops are really coordinating. If takes, there was bishop takes h7 mating. Now here, it's not over yet. Bishop takes g6. And now f4 looks strong. And now f takes looks strong, but is it the move? Yes, it is the move. And white has won the piece back and is still attacking. We've got things like a rook left, for example. Let's have a look at some of the variations here. So knight e4, if knight h7, rook d4, and then we're going to g4. So with the idea rook g4, f5 stops rook g4, and then we can take on h7, and then play rook g4 check anyway. Look at this, stunning. For queen g5, yeah, the queen, the rook is now covering f7. So stunning stuff. Blackburn's Mate is one that I aim for, literally, from one of my pet systems. Pillsbury's Mate. This looks as though we want this g5. I think I see a move which is very, very interesting. The only move I can think of, actually, which might really help the cause here in this position. I don't think we want to move the rook. Can you guess if I give you 5 seconds? Well, I'm hoping this is the move anyway. Queen f3. Cool, we can get this g-file now. The fun of forcing moves. And now I think bishop g7. Yeah, the fun in forcing moves. Bishop takes f6 and is checkmate, I believe. Or mating after queen g4, whatever. Queen moves. Cool. Fun stuff. Yeah, I love this mate section in particular. That's my personal bias, actually. But there's all sorts of other very important sections. Double check. Yeah, this is actually a clear checkmate here. So bishop takes f3. How would you do the double check? Okay. Knight f6. Yeah, if knight d6, king d7. So this is the way to do the double check. So lots of examples of double checks here. Let's have a look at another one to reinforce. We've all seen this one before, many of us. But if you haven't, this is absolutely essential to leverage what's been termed the dive bomber of tactic of the chessboard. So white to play if I give you 5 seconds. Okay. Queen d8 and bishop g5. We're coordinating on d8. Okay, let's go back. And I'm addicted to this chapter as well. Now here is a deceptively simple looking tactical position. It's actually very difficult to see this. So black to play, if I give you 5 seconds, what's the absolute best move here? Okay. It's rook h1 to start off with. So clearly king takes, there's queen takes and then queen g2. But now there's a really, really tricky move to find. Can you find that? 5 seconds. Okay. It's actually queen h4 check. And here it's a checkmate. We're covering all the exit squares. So it's actually pretty tricky. Let's look at the variations. If we had tried in the start position, queen takes h3 as an example, you might think it's not. The king's got g3, for example, after. So this is the way to play it. Rook h1, and then this. Yeah, it's not queen takes. There's nothing there. It's queen h4. That's the key move. So if we had tried rook takes h3 here. This is also good as well though. So we could have played rook takes h3 as well for the check. Okay, there's another way of doing it there. Okay, let's go back to the chapter list and have a look at double attack. Now this one is very, very nice indeed. And it reminds me of one of my favourite games of Tigran Petrosian against Boris Spassky a little bit. Check. Can you see what white plays here? I don't know if any of you remember the Queen h8 game against Boris Spassky. There's similar sort of themes. 5 seconds. Okay. Bishop takes. And we're going to get a really amazing move. Check here. This is beautiful. Knight takes f7. Winning the queen. I think I should cover that game soon. Very spectacular finish there. Okay, and now let's look at what should we look at next? Pawn combinations. Under promotion. This is a really spectacular tactic, as it says here. Yeah, he shares my passion of tactics, Yusupov, actually, and forcing moves. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay, the first move. is rook c8 check. Well, we're controlling e1 here, so we don't have to be too worried about things. We're controlling e1, but now there's a really spectacular move. Can you guess if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video? Okay. Queen takes a7. Yeah, we get this fork under promote to a knight to fork, and then we're 2 pawns up. It's winning. Really, really cool tactic there. Okay, let's dip in again. Stalemate motifs. Can you see how... Okay, black's bishop up, but what can we do to force a stalemate? If I give you 5 seconds. White play. Okay, I believe it's queen takes e6, and then it's a stalemate. In this position, you can see that the king has no squares. Stalemate. Very important sometimes to be able to save games with a stalemate. Weak points. This is a great strategic test I noticed here. If we look at this, you have to identify what is a strategically important square in black's camp. So if I give you 5 seconds, can you identify the square, in fact? And what will be the move to celebrate the square? Okay. It's c5, identifying d6. And now, after a5, there's a fantastic facility that c5 actually offers as well for this knight. So a really subtle rerouting. It's a classic game though, knight b1, and then we can go via c4 to d6. So really fantastic stuff here. We go into d6. A lot of Botvinnik games have this great strategic aspect to them, so even that is in this course a little bit. It's not just mates. There's a lot of good stuff strategically as well to check out. The wrong bishop. Let's have a look at the wrong bishop. Now here, yeah, we haven't got too many moves to choose from. We can just stay in the corner. But are all of them drawn? That's the question when you have the wrong bishop. Well, let's have a look at this one. White play. Is it drawn? White play here. Can you guess what white can do if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video? So there's a saving corner h8 for black to get into, but what we can do is actually play bishop a2 here to cut the king from getting into the corner in the first place, and then we're winning with h7. So very important not to just quickly agree a draw just because you've got the wrong bishop. Yeah, sometimes you can stop the king getting to the corner. So all of these can score points to make prizes in these tournaments, online or offline. So very, very important to build up the themes, strengthen the themes, level up on these themes, on these chapters. Smothered mate. Very, very important points winner, this one. Queen e6, we get onto that, what I call diagonal death. If king f8, there was queen f7, then we get this check. Then we get a double check, and then a check here to get that smothered mate. Very, very important to know about. Now, going to the chapter list again, and pick, what should we pick now? Final test and recommended. Let's have a look at this. So this is interesting. The queen's a loose piece in this position. That's a clue. What would you play if I give you 5 seconds? Okay. Knight e6, because we want to use bishop a5 to pick up the queen, but black, by doing this, by not letting the queen drop off, instead gets checkmated. So that's a cool one there. Knight e6 from Steinitz, one of the first official world chess champion, Steinitz. Okay, so there's a lot of very, very interesting chapters to choose from, with very, very important themes. And in the next few days there's an introductory offer, so don't miss it. A really interesting book on Chessable to improve your chess there, with the fundamentals of chess, the most important aspects of chess tactics, and a little bit of strategy and a little bit of endgames as well thrown in. So you can use the link in the description or the short URL link which you see underneath there. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, and check out this book at Chessable. Thanks very much.